Well, hello everyone. Welcome. My name is John Cottrell, and this is Soft Flow. It's a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. And this is a perfect practice if you haven't been practicing yoga for too long or you're a beginner. This is a great class for you because we like to move slowly, we take our time, and we use a number of props to help support your body while you're moving from pose to pose. Now, in a soft flow class that I teach here, we don't do a whole lot of postures. Really, we like to feature a few things and really take our time getting into those postures, and again using the props to help support our bodies. So here's some of the props you might want to use for your practice today. I'm sitting on a blanket, so you may want to have a blanket either to sit on and maybe even to kneel on, because we will be on our hands and knees for a small portion of the practice. And this is just to give a nice cushioning for your knees and your hands. A couple other things you may want to have are a couple of yoga blocks. I've got two here. You can also use just some hardback books like dictionaries or encyclopedias if you have them, or yoga blocks, or even some pillows. Even just some small sofa pillows will work. If you have it, you don't have to have one of these, but maybe a yoga bolster or a big pillow. Again, it's just really just for your comfort. At the end of our practice, we move into Shavasana, just lying down, just very relaxed. And so maybe just having a pillow either for your head or for your knees can feel quite nice. And then lastly, what you may want to have is actually a yoga strap or something that resembles a yoga strap. I've got a yoga strap here. It's just basically a long belt. So you can use a belt or a necktie, jump rope, something like that, something that's long. And again, it's going to help us with our practice. So those are our prompts today, and we'll be using the strap for our leg work, and we're going to be focusing on hamstrings. So there's a few postures that we'll feature today that will just help to stretch out and lengthen our hamstrings. So we like to begin our practice in seated. So I invite you to take a comfortable seat on your mat. Feel free to sit on your pillow or a folded blanket. I like to cross my legs. This is comfortable for me. But if this isn't comfortable for you, you can extend your legs or one leg. Even feel free to sit up against a wall or even in a chair for this first portion of the practice. We like to sit up nice and tall. Feel free to close your eyes or just soften your eyes. I want to start with a few deep breaths just to make a connection to your breathing. You might breathe in through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or exhale through your mouth. And if you exhale through your mouth, maybe release it with a nice sigh. Inhale deeply and a nice complete exhale, letting it all go. If it feels right, you might want to just, roll your shoulders if there's any tension in your neck, your shoulders, your head, upper back. You can even just shake those out a little bit as you're taking these first rounds of breath. And then just find stillness as best as you can, sitting up with a lengthened spine, shoulders gently rolled back, neck is nice and long. Then again, you can keep your eyes opened or closed. Moving into the sensation of your breath, being fully aware of your breathing. You may want to breathe in a way where you can feel your breath. The noticeable inhale, the noticeable exhale. Slow, deep breaths. We're going to bring a little bit more sensation and awareness to the breath in a moment. One other sensation is actually the sense of sound or hearing. Can you hear your breath? So breathe in a way where you can hear your breath. Good. As you continue to breathe, you might want to take a nice full breath in, a nice full inhale. And as you breathe in, feel the breath rise, filling up your lungs with nice expansiveness in the chest. Then as you exhale, if you're able, draw your navel inward toward your spine or just feel your stomach muscles, your abdominal muscles contract. Very lightly, you don't have to really force that at all. And inhale to feel long in the spine, breath rising to fill up your lungs. Then your exhale, engaging your center. We call that the abdominal lock. What's happening here is that we're bringing breath up. We want to keep it up. We don't want it to drop back down. So we keep the breath lifted, create a lock down here so it doesn't drop back down. And that's the engaging muscles. Inhale, exhale. Good. Do that 3 more times, then we're going to add some movement. A very simple movement. This is just our moving meditation. You inhale, extend your arms out across the room, reaching up into the air. Nice stretch, lengthening through the sides of your body. Then your exhale, extend your arms out and let them float back down by your side. You want to move at the pace of your breath. So now inhale, moving with that same pace of the breathing in, reaching out and all the way up. Complete the breath in, then begin your exhale. And you're still drawing your belly button in towards your spine, engaging your abdominal muscles as your arms float back down. Continue on your own. Okay, you just want to move and breathe at your own pace. So you might be going at the same pace as me, might be a little slower, might be a little faster, all correct. And just continue to notice the sensation in your body. First, noticing the feeling and the sound of your breath. Then as your arms are in motion, feel that stretch quality as you reach for the ceiling. Feel the energy out through your hands and fingertips. Notice the movement in your shoulders as your arms go up and down. Very nice. Go ahead and complete the breath that you're on now and take 2 more breaths. When you're complete, just let your arms and hands relax down by your side or in your lap. Notice how everything relaxes, your shoulders, your neck, your arms. Take another deep breath in and out. Then from here, just bring your hands behind you. Just gently lean back into your hands or even propped up on your fingertips right there. And then just feel the shoulders gently pull back just to help open up your chest, your heart space. And then tip your chin up a little bit. Okay, just at a slight angle here. You don't want to put any strain in the neck. It's just a looking up sensation. And we're creating a mild back bend, very mild back bend. We're going to continue with full breaths. You're going to inhale to fill up your lungs. Nice expansiveness across the chest. As you exhale, you're still drawing belly button in towards your spine. Do that again. As you inhale, feel the breath rise, fill up your lungs. Also feel the hands or fingertips press into the ground. Exhale, draw belly in, and as you're able, squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. You're engaging your upper back muscles. So we're adding more sensation to the body. Again, as you press into the ground, feel the energy in your hands, arms, your shoulders drawn back, heart opening. With the exhale, core engaging, the abdominal muscles contracting, squeezing the muscles behind you. Feel, notice, be aware. Take 2 more breaths. And after the second breath, just lower your chin so you're looking forward. Relax your hands so you can bring them forward, back onto your lap. Still sitting up nice and tall, feeling how your whole upper body is now returning to that baseline of relaxation. So since we did a back bend, we're going to take a forward fold. We are going to change the position of our legs. If your legs are crossed, we're going to uncross them and then place the soles of the feet together. A couple things how you can do this. You probably can't see my feet very clearly, but if your heels are close, which they can be, that's going to put more of a bend in the knees. But if that's too much of a strain on your knees, you can always slide your feet forward, something like this. So you form more kind of 90-degree angles here, okay? And if that's the case, then you may want to use your pillows or blocks or books and just tuck them underneath your knees so your legs rest right there, okay? So you can have the heels close or far away. If they're far away, you might just want to hold on to your shins. If they're closer, you can probably reach your ankles or your feet. From here, we're going to inhale to sit up nice and tall, lengthen spine. Exhale, pull belly in and hinge forward just a little bit. See how I'm moving very minimally right here? That's as far as we're going initially. We're going to inhale, more lengthen the spine at this new angle. Exhale, draw belly in. And maybe if you want, hinge forward a tiny bit more. You can pause at any point. If you feel like, oh, this feels good in my back, or I feel a nice gentle stretch in my inner thighs, then that's as far as you need to go. You don't have to go any further unless you'd like to, okay? But don't feel like you have to go too far. In this practice, in this class, we encourage you not to go too deeply. You might even want to work at 60% rather than maybe a full 100%. Okay, if you go a little deeper, maybe you're allowing your back to round a little bit, which is okay. You can even lower your chin a little bit as well and fold a tiny bit more. Stay working at that 60%. This is still quite effective, and it's even a little safer on the body, and you get a wonderful benefit too. The body doesn't get as tired, it's not as strained, it doesn't get stressed, since we're moving gently and slowly in and out of our poses. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths here. If your back is rounded and your chin lowered, okay, we'll start by lifting the chin so you're looking out in front of you. That'll start that re-extension of your spine. To rise back up, you can just engage your core muscles and rise back up, or use your hands to assist your body. Just push your hands into the ground and just lift yourself back up until you're nice and tall in your seat. Hold here for a moment. We're going to get ready for our next pose. We're going to move our props out of the way, those blocks or pillows. Okay, we're just going to lean to one side, just swing the legs behind you, manipulate and maneuver the body in a careful way so you can bring yourself to hands and knees. And here's where you might want to use your blanket for some padding for your hands and knees. I like to unfold mine a little bit so I have plenty of space for the knees and my hands. So we're in this tabletop position, moving into 2 poses, cow pose and cat pose. The inhale is cow. So we're going to inhale and look up or forward, really, arching the back a tiny bit. So we create this bowl shape or a U shape with the back. So it's a minor back bend. Exhale, we're going to round it all out. Pull your belly button up toward your spine. Feel that rounding in the upper back, and your chin tucks in toward your chest. That's cat. Inhale, return to cow. You'll feel your pelvis tip back, which arches the back. Exhale, round it out. Tuck your tailbone underneath. Navel pulls up towards spine. All the while, your hands are just staying firm on your blanket. Arms stay straight. Just be aware if your elbows are bending. See if you can just keep the arms straight and somewhat engaged. The engagement is just feeling like they're squeezing in towards each other. Again, that doesn't have to be too dynamic of a sensation. Just keep paying attention to the curvature of the spine, the undulation of the spine, nice rocking sensation in the hips and pelvis. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. Come back to a neutral tabletop posture. Hold for a moment. Okay, sit back and maybe if you can, just very briefly onto your heels or just really just trying to get some less weight on the hands. Even if you're here, but there's not a lot of weight on the hands, okay? You can even do a counter stretch for the wrist by pressing the tops of the hands down into your blanket. Again, not too strongly, but just a counter pose. We are going to come back out to hands and knees. We're going to do one more posture out there. Okay, but first, just this counter pose for the wrists, just to rest them out. And then when you're ready, return to hands and knees like this, okay? And then from here, we're gonna extend the left leg back, but keep the toes on the ground. Actually, make sure the toes are on the ground because you're gonna kind of push into the ground with the toes so you can actually feel like your hamstrings, okay, the back of your leg here, feels like it's lifting up towards the ceiling. Even your calf muscle, okay? You're not really lifting the leg, you're not lifting the foot off the floor, but just because of that flexed feeling and the heel pushing back and the hamstring lifting, you get that engagement. Okay, just one more breath. You feel the whole leg engaging there, and then relax. Just bend the knee. We're just going to do the other side. So extend the right leg back, keep the toes tucked underneath you, pushing back through the heel. Feel the hamstring lift. Your hips will lift too a little bit too, okay? Because we don't want to collapse into the low back. If anything, we're actually slightly rounding the back so we can take any pressure off of the low back. Again, hamstring engaged, the calf muscle, you might even feel the gluteus maximus engage a little bit. One more breath, and then relax. All right, let's go ahead and crawl off the blanket there. We'll set that to the side. You can use that at any time, of course. Return to hands and knees. We'll get ready for our next pose. So from here, from hands and knees, step your hands forward. Just your hands, step your hands forward. As you do so, spread out your fingers pretty wide. So you have a good stretch between each finger. And with the hands out in front of you like this, push or lean into the hands. Put some pressure into the palms so they kind of flatten. Okay, they're straightening out. Okay, stretching out really. Arms are still straight and strong. Feel that energy. Then tuck your toes again. Let's do another another cow pose. Inhale, look up, arch the back slightly. Exhale into cat pose. And if you can, hold cat, belly button pulling up towards spine. A little bit more pressure in the hands so you can lift your knees off the floor as your hips lift up into the air. You'll end up in this inverted V shape. Downward facing dog. Keep a slight bend in the knees. Feel like your hips are still rising upward, hands still pushing down into the ground, lengthening through the back and some opening in your shoulders. Now look at the space between your hands. You just take a few steps forward with your feet until your feet are underneath you, enough where your whole foot, both feet are firmly on the ground. You'll end up in a deep forward fold like this. We want to get out of that. We're going to inhale, slide hands up to your knees, shins, or even your thighs to extend your spine. Hold here. Okay, I've formed a tabletop with my body. My whole upper body is parallel to the ground. There's still a slight bend in the knees here, but I do feel this in the hamstrings. They're engaged, so I don't fall. Okay, but we're going to add a little bit more by shifting weight forward a tiny bit, enough where you have to grip your mat with your toes. That's going to put even more engagement in the hamstrings. And don't forget the belly. With an exhale, just pull belly button up towards spine. These are all engaging sensations so we can hold this position. Your hands they're relatively light on your legs here. Okay, now let's shift the weight back towards heels. You can easily tap your toes, releasing the toe grip. Bend your knees, sit down into a imaginary low chair, look up or forward, take your arms out to the side. I'll call that spread your wings, and then stand up tall. Reach up, big stretch. We're gonna stay here for a couple seconds, reaching for the ceiling, even rise up onto your tiptoes if you want. Then as you exhale, bring your heels back down and bring your arms down by your side. All right, shake out the hands or just circle the wrists, roll your shoulders, any other movement in the body if you want to, just to shake out some of that engaging energy. While you're shaking out, I'm just going to adjust my mat right there. Okay. All right, we're going to do that same forward fold and come right back up. That's our half salute to the sun. Okay, so once again, here's mountain pose. Arms relax down by your side, looking forward. Slight bend in the knees. Just be aware if your knees are locked, okay? Now inhale, extend your arms up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, arms out to the side, bend your knees. Feel your hips shift back towards the back edge of your mat like you're going to sit down into a chair, folding by bending your knees. Feel the curvature in the spine. Maybe you can touch your toes. You don't have to touch your toes though. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs, maybe to shins, knees, or thighs, extending spine. Same thing, we're going to hold here in this tabletop. Shift weight forward, grip your mat with your toes, feel the legs, especially the backs of the legs engage, including the belly. I'm leaning pretty far forward. I almost tipped over, but because of the gripping of the toes and the engagement of my legs, I was able to hold my balance. Now we're shifting weight back into the heels, lighten up the toes, bend your knees, sit down, look forward, arms out, inhale, stand up tall. Again, same thing, big stretch, get tall, get even taller by rising up on tiptoes. You'll feel that in your calves perhaps. Set the heels down, arms back down by your side. And again, if you'd like, shake all that out, releasing. Wonderful. Okay, now we've been doing a variation of Warrior One. It's basically just a step back into a variation of Warrior One. Okay, so we're again just beginning in mountain pose. Just follow me. Okay, same sensation, shoulders rolled back, relax, nice long neck looking forward. Put a slight bend in your knees. Start shifting your weight a bit into your right foot. Okay, feel the pressure in the right foot. We're going to exhale to engage the belly. We're just going to start to slide or even kind of step this left foot back like this until maybe your big toe is touching the ground. So there's still a little bit of balance there. Okay, and then we're just going to plant the foot into the ground. Okay, I'm just turning the foot. It'll be a natural angle outward like that, and there's very short distance between the feet. Now place your hands on your hips. Push pelvis down, okay? And then feel tall through the torso, and then turn your hips and torso so they're facing directly forward. Of course, we have a slight bend in the front knee. We want to make sure this knee stays stacked nicely over the heel or ankle bone. Then we'll inhale and take both arms up into the air. We'll hold this for several breaths. Okay, again, a very modified variation of Warrior One. It allows us to be aligned from the hips all the way up. Okay, this might even take some pressure out of the back. Sometimes Warrior One can put a little pressure in the low back. That can be a little uncomfortable. Hopefully this variation takes that strain away. We're going to hinge forward slightly, put some weight into the front foot. You might even lean into it. So you can easily step forward with the left foot, stand up tall again, reach for the sky, exhale, arms down by your side. Feel free to shake all that out again. Okay, so a very mild movement, okay, into our Warrior One variation. Set up for the other side. Make sure to put a little softness in the knees. Then we'll shift weight into the left foot, grounding. With an exhale, pull belly in. It's just getting ready for balance and stability because we need to step or slide the right foot back. Keep the big toe touching the ground, whatever the length is, okay? Just a natural extending of that leg back. And then set the heel onto the ground. Toes turn outward naturally. Place hands on hips. Push pelvis down as the torso gets tall. That's creating the space so you can then perhaps turn forward. Now I noticed something. My right foot is pretty much directly behind my left foot, okay? Which means it's not allowing me to get my hips square enough. So I'm going to make an adjustment. I'm going to step my right foot to the right side, just a little bit there. Okay, and that really allows me to square out my hips. My hip bones are reaching directly left and right, and I'm facing forward. So you can always adjust that back foot in the variation of Warrior One or a full Warrior One. Okay, we have a slight bend in this left knee. We're going to inhale, take both arms up. Hold there as you exhale. Let's hold. Nice reaching sensation. It's a brief or a mild lunge. It's also a nice hip opener in a mild condition. Feet firmly planted. There's a sense of centering here. Let's go ahead and hinge forward slightly. Start putting weight and pressure into the left foot so you can easily step forward with the right. Stand up tall, both arms into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Shake it out. All right. Now, one of the poses that we're going to do is going to mimic that sensation a bit, okay? All right, but let's get through a full flow here. I'm going to break it down. Let's do this together. We'll inhale, extend the arms up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings. You're going to bend your knees, sit back into an imaginary chair. Your back stays pretty flat here. As you fold, as you get lower, your back will probably naturally round, maybe touching your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs, extending your spine. On this exhale, bend your knees enough, let the back round until you can bring your hands to the ground. And then start stepping both feet back, all the way back onto your tiptoes until you can draw a straight line in your body. This is plank pose. Hold here for a couple breaths. A little different than when we were on our hands and knees. Okay, now you're going to bend your knees a little bit like you are going to kneel down, but lift your hips up into the air, and that will guide you to downward facing dog. You might need to tiptoe forward slightly. Keep the bend in the knees, hips high, hands pressing firmly into the ground. Spread out your fingers, strong arms. Let's continue. We're going to lift the right foot and extend that leg back, just straight back, reaching through your toes. As you exhale, bend that right knee. Bring it in underneath you, towards your chin or chest, and then feel your upper body shift forward. Shoulders will stack over the wrists. And then just set your right foot down, your toes. Just set your toes on the ground, and then set your left knee on the ground. That way you can actually pick up your right foot and place it up higher on your mat, closer to your right hand. We're going to re-lift the left knee. Compared to Warrior One, now there's more distance between the feet. If there's a lot of pressure in the hands, you want to pull the hips back to get weight off the hands or less weight in the hands. So hips move back, shift back, so you can easily rise up to your fingertips and then eventually bring both hands up to your thigh. Push into the thigh muscles. So of course we have a knee bend here. Hands pressing into the thigh so we can extend the spine at this angle. We're about 45 degrees. The heel is lifted behind us. We're on our toes, but press back. Okay, think about that plank pose we did earlier where you felt like your hamstring and calf muscle were moving away. Okay, so it's that same sensation. Then squeeze your inner thighs towards each other to strengthen the legs. Feel the engagement. Let's sweep the arms out to the side and up into the air. Now we're in a high lunge. It's similar to Warrior One, except that left heel is lifted. So everything is square and facing forward. Okay, so this takes a little balance in the body. We're going to inhale, lift a little, pivot left heel to the ground. You'll turn sideways to the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Arms reaching across the room. Be sure this right knee is bent and you're still lunging. Hold for a moment to arrive in the pose. If you need to make any adjustments, do so with the feet. But because of the initial alignment of the feet before we got into the lunge, you may not need to make significant movements. Okay, side angle, reaching out as if you're going to grab something with this right hand. This will angle the upper half of the body. And then rotate your arms. Bring your right hand down and your left hand reaching into the air. Be sure you're still lunging so we can get a little stretch in the right inner thigh. Hold. Now we're going to take this in reverse basically. Okay, let's bring the arms back out to parallel right there. Pull back enough until the right leg straightens like that. Okay, we're going into a hamstring stretch. We're going to triangle pose. Now there's a lot of distance between the feet. I feel like my feet are going to slide away. So feel free to actually shorten the distance between the feet. I feel a bit more steady here. So if you need to do that, you can do that. Okay, arms out, tall upper body, straight legs. Reach out over that front straight leg Your left hip will feel like it's moving to the back wall. Rotate your arms again, right hand down, left hand up. Okay, so again, an angled position, the only change really is the straight front leg. Now we're getting into that hamstring. Let's hold here for several breaths. Another thing you can do, since we're holding this posture for a little bit, to help stabilize the leg, okay, and even to go a little deeper, is actually lift your toes in front, just your toes, and then push into the ground with the heel and the balls of your foot here. This will add energy to the leg, especially in the hips, okay, which might allow you to tip over a little bit more if you desire. A little bit more stabilizing. Okay, to get out of this pose, we're going to bend the right knee a whole lot, okay, into a side angle. Then we're going to turn the torso, bring your hands down to the ground, rise up onto your tiptoes behind you, push firmly into ground with the hands so you can slide or step the right foot back. This is our return to plank pose. Hold for a few seconds. This is a great strength building position. Then bend your knees slightly, send your hips into the air, downward facing dog. Now, if you need to rest, feel free to rest anytime, okay? Even here if you need to. And just join us when you're ready. Then inhale, extend your left leg up behind you, reach through your toes. Exhale, bend your left knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting your weight forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. When you can, set the left foot down. Set your right knee down. Go get the left foot and place it up higher. You're just grabbing the ankle and bringing that foot up closer to the hand. Relift the right knee. If the weight is in the hands, pull your hips back so there's less weight in the hands. So you can rise up to your fingertips, then hands up to your thigh. Push into the thigh to help assist your upper body to lengthen at this 45-degree angle. Run our toes behind us. Remember to push the heel back. And again, feel like your hamstring and calf muscle are moving away from you. Squeeze inner thighs. Engage the legs. Pull belly button in for more stability. Sweep your arms out and up into the air. Reach up and lunge a little deeper if you're able. A few deep breaths. Okay, legs are engaged. Strong balancing, lunging position. We're going to inhale, lift a little, pivot right heel to the floor, turn sideways. Arms come down to parallel. We're going to hold for a moment in Warrior Two. Check in with your alignment of this left leg. Left knee is bent, toes forward, knee is over the heel or ankles. Side angle, reach out to get something with this left hand, angled upper body, rotate your arms. Left hand comes down, right hand comes up. You can stay up high, just like this. This left hand could touch the ground, but it doesn't have to for this class. Hold here. Feel this in the inner legs, or at least the left inner leg. Some strengthening there. You might even feel the left heel kind of drive into the ground for energy. Okay, take it in reverse, come back up, extended arms, parallel to the ground, nicely leveled. Okay, we're going to pull back to extend the left leg, straighten the left leg, even shorten the distance between the feet if you need to or want to. Moving into triangle, we're reaching out over the left leg, right hip pushes back, rotate the arms. This left hand might just touch the knee or thigh, while your right hand reaches into the air. You don't have to go any lower than this unless you want to. One way we can go lower carefully is to stabilize and energize this left leg. You can do so by lifting your toes and feel the heel and the balls of the left foot press into the ground. That'll stimulate action and energy in this left leg, especially in the hip, to help stabilize the pose. It might create a little bit more energy for a nice lengthening sensation in the hamstring. To come out of the posture, we're going to bend the left knee, nice lunge. Right there, then turn to bring both hands down to the ground. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Press hands firmly into the mat so you can slide the left foot back. Plank pose. Hold. And we're going to rest here. Bring the knees to the ground. Sit back. Get off the hands and then slide off the heels onto the ground and swing the legs around to the front. Right there. Okay, so we're just going to sit up nice and tall, okay, with the legs extended. We're going to do a forward fold, seated forward fold, and here's where you might want to use your straps. So we want to sit tall, legs long and straight if possible. Flex your feet. Grab your strap or jump rope, whatever you've got there, around the bottom of the feet there, holding on to the ends. If you pull on the straps, that's a way that you can use some leverage to extend the spine, sit up a little taller. Keep the feet flexed, that'll keep the legs energized. Legs relatively straight here. You can even put a slight bend in the knees, or more so if you need to, okay? Either way, you'll probably still feel a hamstring stretch. We're gonna inhale, get tall, pulling on the strap. Exhale, pull belly in. Another pull on the strap to send your heart forward. Just a tiny bit there. If you need to, you can always adjust your hands on your strap there, a little bit more comfortable. Now I'm going to pause here because I feel this. It's not too intense, but I do feel it. I can feel my hamstrings. They're getting a stretch. I'm sitting up tall, so I have a relatively lengthened spine, but there's a little bit of flexion or stretch sensation in my back, but again, not overbearing. So these are ways you kind of check in with your body. Okay, just notice, like, how does this feel? Okay, what are my legs doing? How do they feel? How's my back, my feet, my shoulders? Just do a quick bodily scan. And then you can just stay right there if it feels good. Or maybe you have a little bit more space and can go a tiny bit deeper. Again, not forcing this. Remember, we're still working at 60%. So if you're at 80%, maybe you want to lighten it up a little bit. Want to kind of keep this calmed sensation throughout the practice. All right, 3 more breaths. And after your 3rd breath, just take your time so you can sit up nice and tall. Once again, straight spine. And we'll go ahead and remove the strap. Just set that to the side. Keep it handy because we'll use it at the end of practice. You can actually let everything relax here for a moment, even the feet. Okay, we're going to swing the legs back behind us, return to hands and knees. Okay, just lean to one side. Okay, whatever maneuvering you need to do to safely get to hands and knees here. All right, step your hands forward, spread out your fingers, strong arms, tuck your toes. Inhale, cow. Okay, that's that little back bend, look forward. Exhale, cat, round it out. Hold that cat pose as you lift knees. Okay, into the air, or hips into the air here for your downward facing dog. Make some adjustments with the feet and hands as you need to. Let's hold here a little bit longer. Let's get a little stretch for the calf muscles. One at a time, press a heel down as the other heel lifts. That'll be an exhale. Then inhale as you alternate or switch. Exhale, press. Okay, feel this in the lower half of the legs, your calf muscles. Couple times. Take your time with this. So a long, complete exhale as you press that heel down. Full breath in, alternate, exhale, slowly press. One more each side. If your upper body's getting a little tired, you can always rest. You can come down to your knees. All right, hold for a second and look at the space up by the hands or just down at the floor. Start stepping the feet forward until they're maybe in the center of your mat at least, so your feet are flat on the ground. You can inhale, slide your hands back up the legs, maybe to knees or shins, extending spine. This exhale, we're going to fold again. Doesn't have to be all the way down. You can just bend your knees more or round your back more, even hang heavily right here. There's still that weight shift towards toes. Grip your mat with the toes.
Feel the energy in your legs, kind of shooting up the legs. You might feel this a little bit in your calves, but mostly in your hamstrings and even in the lower glutes. Okay, lean back into the heels. As best as you can, feel the feet push into the ground as a way to roll your way up. We're going to roll up. Okay, so keep the back rounded, pressure into the ground with the feet, rolling up carefully. Okay, once you're tall, roll the shoulders back, look forward, returning to a mountain pose. Okay, now we're going to move into another posture. Okay, it's going to be like that warrior one variation, okay, with a slight change. Okay, so let's again stand near the top of the mat, nice and tall, softness in the knees, shifting weight into the right foot. Good pressure there. Exhale to engage belly. Okay, we're same thing. We're just going to slide that left foot back until you're on your toes, the big toe back there, and then just set it down. Okay, so we're in a not so wide of a stance. If this left foot feels like it's directly behind the right foot, actually feel free to take the left foot more out to the edge of the left side of the mat. Hands on hips, push down, get tall, turn forward. Taking the foot out is going to give you a lot more space to rotate, okay, here in the pelvis to face forward. Okay, here's the new things. We're going to extend the right leg, so a straight right leg. Okay, leading with your heart, you're going to feel like you're going to go up and forward, okay? Up and forward like so. And maybe come down to maybe 45 degrees or lower if you're able. Okay, the lower you go, the more stretch you'll experience in the hamstring. With the hands on hips, you want to feel like you're pushing your pelvis back. Okay, while your crown or the top of your head are going forward. You can always still adjust where your feet are. You can bring them in closer, even take left foot more out to the left side. Okay, as long as we feel pretty square in the hips. I'm going to make a slight adjustment for me. Okay, you also with this right hand on your right hip, push it back a little bit more firmly than the left side. That'll help square out the hips even more. That might even allow you to lower a little deeper, but not necessary. To get out of the pose, we're going to start by bending the right knee. So we have a bit of a lunge. And then just push into the ground with that right foot so you have that leverage to rise up. Let's go ahead and take arms up into the air to get some length through the sides and back. Okay. Keep arms up. Bend the right knee, hinge forward, pressure into the right foot enough so we can step forward into now extended mountain pose, reaching high. Exhale, arms down by your side. Okay, so that's basically a pose that we call pyramid. Okay, pyramid pose, and that's this down here. It's a variation. Okay, so a pyramid. So a nice leg stretch. Okay, let's get ready for the other side. Nice and tall. Softness in the knees. Shift weight into left foot. Grounded. Exhale, navel to spine for support. Let's start stepping or sliding the right foot back until you're on your big toe back there. You can already start taking it out to the right side and then plant it, okay? Natural angled foot out to the side. You can even step out more if you want to. Hands on hips, push down, get tall, turn forward. If you're not exactly forward, then make some adjustments. I'm just going to move my left foot to the left side. Okay, actually step my right foot forward a little bit. Okay, there we are. Then straighten the left leg, tall as can be. Then same heart movement, up and forward. Okay, right here. Up and forward. Pause at 45 degrees. Maybe that's enough for this front hamstring. Or maybe a little lower, take your time. Make adjustments with feet if you need to. Square out the hips. That squaring out the hips is going to allow you perhaps to fold a little deeper because the squared hips are just mimicking a regular forward fold when the feet are together and everything is naturally aligned. but because we have some distance of, between the feet and we're at a slight angle, okay, things are a little different here. To get out of the pose, we're bending the left knee, ground down into the floor with the left foot, with that leverage to help you rise back up nice and tall. Get even taller by extending both arms up into the air, reach high, hold it. Okay, we're bending the left knee a little bit. Hinge forward, put pressure into the left foot so we can step forward, both feet together there, both arms up into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Let's just pause, take a couple of breaths. All right, we're going to flow and make our way down to the ground and come to our closing sequence. All right, so this is what I meant by a forward fold with the feet together. Just stay where you are, just watch. Because if I fold right here, okay, I fold naturally and I can go down quite easily to touch my toes because everything is aligned. Okay, but in a lunge, okay, things are turned a little bit. And so you might have a little bit of a hang up, okay, to go all the way down. That's why we adjusted the feet a little bit in order to square out the hips so it mimics the feet together so you can go down a little lower, okay? So just a little tip there. All right, back to mountain pose. Let's flow. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into the imaginary chair, folding, maybe touching the ground, not necessary. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, bend your knees a whole lot, round your back, plant your hands into the ground, and then walk both feet back, plank pose. Hold. From here, we're just going to bring the knees to the ground. Sit back towards the heels, off of the hands here. Slide off to the side, swing legs around to the front. All right, make any adjustments with your mat, grab your props. The props that you'll need handy are your strap and maybe your blocks, okay? Because we're gonna lie down and we just wanna have those at the ready. So maybe sitting in the center of your mat and carefully roll your way down. Let's just start here, flat on our backs, but with knees bent, feet on the ground. Okay, just hold here for a moment. Okay, and grab your strap. We're gonna get ready. All right, just hug the left knee in towards chest, just lifting the foot. So we can wrap the strap around the bottom of the foot. Okay. All right, and then extend the leg up, just like this. Okay, and just hold on to the strap. If the leg is straight, great. If you need to bend the knee, that's fine there too, just as long as you feel a little bit of a stretch in the hamstring. Now the right leg can stay bent like this, okay, or extend the leg out onto the floor. Either one is fine for this, okay? You might find that there's less strain, okay, in this lifted, extended leg when the right leg in this case is bent. Okay, it feels different. You can try it out. Try extending that right leg out and just feel the change. It feels a little different, okay? With the bent right knee, foot planted, it softens it up a little bit. All right, just a couple breaths. Again, we're just going back to a little bit more hamstring stretch. Okay, and just more in an upside down position rather than being on our feet to extend the legs. Okay, we're gonna bend the knee so you can release the strap. We'll set that foot onto the ground, hold for a moment, just let everything relax and settle into the ground. And then we'll bring right knee in, wrap the strap around your foot, and extend the leg to the place that feels right. Left knee can stay bent. You can even extend it, even just extend it just to experiment to notice the change. It might be very subtle as far as the change, what it feels like to have both legs extended, okay? Or just keep the knee bent. Again, for me, it just feels like a little softer, a little easier in a way, not as strained. I feel like I can hold here a little longer, no strain in my hips or my low back. And I can just focus on the lengthening in the hamstring.
All right, just 2 more breaths here. And then we can release, bending the knee, release the strap, put it to the side. Can you still reach your blocks? Okay, grab your blocks now. Feet are still plugged into the ground. I like to take my feet a little wider in this next position. We're going to move into bridge pose. So the feet can be closer together or even farther apart. They're both correct. With an exhale, press feet into the ground, lifting your hips, grab your blocks, place them underneath you to sit on. Sit. Okay. So we get a little lift of the pelvis here in a minor back bend. Okay, I like to call this supported bridge pose, since we're hips are lifting to create the back bend, but we're sitting, so a little bit more relaxed. We'll hold here for several breaths, just so the body can experience the whole front side of the body opening up. If you want, I'm just going to throw in a few options. You don't have to do these. You can stay exactly like this in bridge. If you want, you can extend one leg out on the floor, okay? Just extending, which continues some release in the front of the leg, okay? That's one option. You can do both sides. Another option, if you want, is to extend a leg up into the air. Use your strap again, or just use a hand or two just to hold on to the leg in the air. Okay? Again, these are options not necessary for you to do in this practice. We'll take about 3 more breaths in our bridge pose. You're certainly welcome to stay a little bit longer if you'd like. Whenever you're ready, just press feet into the ground so you can lift your hips, remove the blocks out from underneath you, and come back down to the ground. All right, then from here, just hug both knees to chest. I like to do some simple movements, maybe rocking left and right gently, forward and back, or just circles. Again, you can extend the legs one at a time or both at the same time if you want. Again, optional. Let's do a quick hip opener, maybe happy baby pose by taking the knees that are bent wide, feet up into the air, flexed feet holding on to the soles of the feet if you can reach them. Otherwise, just hold on to your ankles or calves. Okay, and then just gently press down just for the hip opening experience. I'm adding a gentle rocking left and right. Again, for me, that just feels really nice on my back and even in the hip sockets there. Couple more breaths. And again, feel free to stay here or maybe choose another hip opener if you want, like reclining cobbler's pose, if you know it. Our next posture will be a twist. So whenever you feel complete with your hip openers, okay, we're just going to hug both knees back into the chest, hold for alignment, and then take both knees over to the left side as you extend right arm out to the right side. Another option you can do, since we were working with, hamstrings and lengthening the hamstrings. Okay, both knees are probably bent in this twisting posture. The top leg, your right leg, you could extend it like you're going to kick it out. Okay. That'll also get into the outer hip a little bit, as well as the lengthening of the leg. Again, just an option. Just adding little additional sensations to the body if you want to. After one more breath in and out, carefully make your way back up to center. Hold there for alignment or realignment of the spine. Then take knees over to the right side. Same thing. You can just stay just like this for the twist, or even extend that top leg, left leg, like you're kicking it out to the right side. And just hold on to the leg with the hand, just help support the leg. I'd suggest maybe flexing the foot if you're doing this, pushing through the heel, just gives a little bit more engagement in the leg. Notice this in the hips, low back, and even outer hip, okay, outer leg area if you're doing this. 2 more breaths. Returning to center, pause with feet on the ground. Let everything soften. And here you're welcome to move into your final relaxation pose. That might just simply be Shavasana by extending both legs out in front of you onto the ground and staying just like this. If you'd like a little bit more support, use your props, maybe a blanket either underneath you for softness or even on top of you. If your body's a little cool, maybe put a blanket on top of you. Use a pillow maybe for your head. If lying flat on your back, even with cushioning, is not comfortable, maybe you want to lie down with knees bent, okay? Or even elevate the legs, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to carefully rise. I'm going to grab my bolster and just create a little bit of a lift in my legs here. Okay, I'm just got my legs kind of draped over the pillow, puts a little bend in the knees. It helps to relax my back a bit, and I feel a little bit more comfortable here. Stay here as long as you need to. Even as I complete the practice, you're welcome to stay comfortably here in Shavasana. When you are ready to move, take 5 slow, deep breaths. And after your 5th breath, moving slowly as can be, start to roll onto either side of your body. Perhaps you'll roll into this nurturing pose, this fetal position where you can pause for a moment. And using the power of your breath and your hands, just press and lift yourself up to seated. You can sit on your blanket or pillow if you want. Sitting up nice and tall with an extended spine. Arms relaxed comfortably down by your side. Shoulders relaxed, nice long neck. A couple of deep breaths. And one final movement, we'll inhale, extend arms up into the air. Big stretch, nice reach. As you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Once here, take one more deep breath in and out. Hold in stillness. And as we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow saying, Namaste.